thought I'd be. I just have to say, and I'm very thankful to be here with you. And I'm glad it starts with Western, because I'm from Western North Carolina. You can take the girl out of the mountains, but you can't take the mountains out of the girl. So listen, a lot of you don't know who I am, and that's fine. So I'm going to tell you a couple stories, and then I'm going to tell you why I'm doing this. So in Cherokee County, North Carolina, we were going to get into a heated race for county commissioner. And I decided to make the campaign public on TikTok. I made a commitment to do 90 days, every day, about the campaign between the superintendent of schools, who was running for our county commissioner seat, and the incumbent county commissioner. And it just so happened the superintendent of schools made it really easy on me, because she did a lot of dumb things, like she couldn't spell the word commissioner on her signs. And she had done so, she was at the time very intimidating to even the teachers. They were very upset. They didn't want her. So she had called the sheriff because I put a Facebook post up that said they were having a private meeting against the rules because there was a 10-day notice. And the sheriff sent me a DM in Facebook and said, hey, I'm going to call you about something. I'm like, why is the sheriff calling me? Like, I'm not a troublemaker. He called me on the phone. He said, they want you to take that post down. Well, this happened like a year and a half before she started to run, but I saved that. Save the receipts is what I'm going to tell you. Because when she started to run, that was my first video. How she had called the sheriff to tell them to take a Facebook post down. And from that day forward, I took her task to task, and we beat her 82% to the remainder, which isn't much. And on top of that, while doing this, I pulled several public records requests, which a lot of people don't realize are very important. But I pulled a public records request of the superintendent with 3 county commissioners. We only have 5, so that's a sunshine rule violation, at our local airport. And I put a video up about that because people didn't realize they were conspiring behind the scenes to win this race. And what I'm trying to teach you is it's empowering for you to take the initiative to tell the truth, show the stories, and have a good backup behind you, a good bunch of people. I couldn't have done that all by myself. I had a lot of people that gave me tidbits. Somebody called me on the phone and said, you probably need to do a public records request for the airport between this time and that time. And it turned into a video. And then after we won that race, that subsequently turned into another county commissioner losing, because he was one of the ones at the airport. So it was a trickle-down effect. I got one more to go. One more, and we're going to turn that board around the way we want it. And a lot of that is due to the fact that people in rural communities, they don't have a lot of ways to communicate. And we all know that TikTok and X and Instagram have changed the game in social media. And my goal is to save my state. It starts with my county, but it permeates throughout the state. And I'm going to give you some facts that I think you should know, because I think these are the things that make the difference for you. First of all, I'm going to start by saying something I don't think a lot of people know in North Carolina. North Carolina has the word God in their constitution. There's only one other state that has it more than them. Can you guess who it is? Massachusetts. You know they're not listening. We've got God in our constitution, and we are listening. That's one thing. I'd like to know the trivia about my state, and I want you to know it too, because it's important. Why would we have God in our constitution that much if it didn't matter to the people, right? But recently, I attended a group, and it was a group of talking about what's going on in North Carolina and civic responsibility in May. And they did a thing called the North Carolina Civic Health Index. And I thought I would give you some of the statistics from that, because I think they would really be impactful for you to see why it's important to use your voice. Out of 50 states and Washington, D.C., North Carolina ranks 50th out of 51 in engaging with local politicians publicly. That is scary. It means that y'all don't want to go yell at your county commissioners or take a superintendent on and get her whooped. I'm not afraid. I'll show you how. Second, we rank 47th in participating in public meetings. Y'all don't want to go see those county commissioners or those school board members. You got to get out there and see them. They should know you. This is a big county, I understand that. But let me tell you something. Every one of my county commissioners in my county knows me. And they're afraid when I call them. But when they call me, they want something. Right? Remember, Mark Robinson started because he got in front of the county commissioners. I cannot tell you or emphasize to you how important it is to get in front of your public officials that you elected and let them see your face and know who you are. You pay for them. In keeping up with news, North Carolina ranks 45th out of 51. Now that's really one of the biggest reasons why I started my TikTok channel after I woke Gina Conley. I decided that I realized a lot of people in North Carolina are too busy. They've got 3 jobs, grandkids they got to take care of, paying bills, student loans. They just don't have time. But you know what they do? They get ready to go to bed and they'll watch like an hour's worth of TikToks. Or they'll be on their way to work and they're not driving and they'll watch TikTok. So I started doing TikTok news stories. You know, recently there was a kid named Christian McGee. You may know who he is. He was suspended from Central Davidson High School for using the word illegal alien with a green card. They suspended him for racism because alien is now a race. Those kinds of stories, a lot of North Carolinians didn't know about that. I put it on TikTok and that was 2.5 million views. That's unbelievable. But that just goes to show you they want to hear it. They just don't know where to get it. And we know TikTok and Instagram and X are where people are getting their news now. So just a thought. I'm going to go back into some statistics. In the first terms of voter registration, North Carolina ranks last. Approximately 67 out of 100 North Carolina residents are registered to vote. We got some work to do. This is why on my TikTok channel, every year there's an election, I will reach out to all 100 counties for their ballot from the Republicans. And I post them on my Facebook, my TikTok, my Instagram, and on X. I will help any candidate that is on one of those ballots be elected. All you have to do is call me. I'll do a video with you. I'll do an interview with you. I did interviews with Brad Knott. I did interviews with Don Brown. I did interviews with Alan Swain. I did interviews with every candidate that asked me to. Michelle Morrow many times, Hal Weatherman, Jim O'Neill, Alan Mashburn. They all have done interviews with me. And they want to because the spaces on X are open for anybody. You don't have to be somebody special. You can just get up there and ask your question. Social media in North Carolina. Posting views about political or social or local issues on the internet or social media. North Carolina's ranked 46th out of 51. We don't like to talk about it. We have to talk about it. We have to help each other. You have to help everybody has candidates. I knew I was controversial when I went after that superintendent. She'll never run for county commissioner again, I can tell you that. And I have people in my county that hate me, and that's part of being in social media. You put your face with your name, they know where I work, they know where I live, and I do get harassed. But you know what? It's worth it. Because I'm here to save my state. And I'm going to save my county. And I'll put my name and my face out there. I'll take the beating. I don't care. I'm going to do what I can to save my state. I'm going to get back to these stats because there's one more I want to tell you about. Over 81% of North Carolinians say they never post views or anything about politics. 81%. I understand that. A lot of people don't want to talk about politics, but it only takes one brave person to say, I'm not for that issue in my community. I'm not going to let that person win at this job after she's bullied 100 teachers. I'm just not going to do it. And it's worth it for me. It's worth it for me, for you, and for my community, which is, by the way, closer to 5 other state capitals than it is to Raleigh, where I live. And it's 20 miles shorter to go to Raleigh than Tallahassee for me. So coming down here to see you and share this with you, I want you to know it's an honor, but I hope you learned something. And I hope you're willing to put your faith and your voice out there. And not everybody puts their face out there, and that's okay. You don't have to, but you can do something, and we can save North Carolina. Thank y'all.